fellow peers. So I think it's great. I'm actually proud to say that our department was one of the first to get involved in this co-curricular database. And anyways, a great way to keep track of all your volunteer activities on campus. So now we're going to listen to our alumna. Okay. She's here to talk to you about her experience here at our institute while she was a grad student. And it's been a few years she's been out, or a year or two. And I love the fact that she is here with you guys today because this can be you. She's like a full example of how a student, an international student, okay, came on campus and made the best of every opportunity she had available to her. So there's plenty of inspiration and knowledge that you can get from her, okay? And one last thing, I would absolutely love if you could populate the Q&A with questions for her so that we could get a real conversation. I'm sure you'll have extra questions to ask her. So I'd like to introduce Teena. um, Teena, it's so lovely to see you again. I am so happy about this. So, Teena, why don't you take it away and tell everybody about your life at the university and what you're up to these days?
Well, thank you, Leslie. Thank you so much for the opportunity. Hi, everyone. I'm Teena Mohaimen. I finished my master's in aerospace engineering last year in April, and I was a co-op student. I'm currently working at Pratt& Whitney, Canada, in the new graduate rotation program as a structural analyst. The co-op internships at the company helped me get this amazing full-time opportunity right after my graduation. So today, I'll be sharing my co-op experiences with you guys and how it helped me navigate through the aerospace industry. Okay. So to give you an overall idea of the timeline, my co-op term started from fall 2022, and I did 8 months of internship at Pratt& Whitney, Canada. It's an aerospace company which makes aircraft engines. So in my internship, I worked with the data sent from aircraft engines, analyzed those data to find out if the engines are working properly or not, right? So then I got the opportunity to extend my internship myself outside the Co-op Institute. So in total, I did 4 internship terms with the company. And also before my co-op term, I did a summer internship myself in 2022 at Tenaris. It's a global pipeline company. And one thing to note that alongside my studies, my internships, I made sure that I kept myself very, very busy. I did a lot of extracurricular activities, lots of volunteering activities, and I also was training to be a pilot all at the same time. So I had, I would say, a very fulfilling 2 years of masters. Now, but let's get into the details, right? How did I manage to get my very first internship without any previous work experience? Now, what I mean by that is after I graduated from my undergrad back in my country, Bangladesh, I started my master's right away in Canada. So I did not have any internship or work experience in my undergrad either. So it's the very first time I'm looking for internships, right? So how would I compete with the students with already relevant industry work experience? Well, I asked myself the question, what would make me stand out to the recruiters? The answer that I found was that my way to stand out in my resume will be to not just focus only on studies, to not just have a good GPA on my resume, but to show them that I'm a well-rounded student, right? So how do I do that? The very first semester I joined at Concordia, I joined Space Concordia as well. And I also started taking French classes so that, I can learn more about the Quebecois culture, I can speak the language, and I can relate to the people more. Let's talk a little bit about Space Concordia here. Very important. I was in the outreach committee in the beginning, and I was taking workshops, and I was going to different schools to teach children of different ages elementary school, middle school children about physics, science, engineering, you name it. And one of the schools, as you can see in one of the pictures, I was teaching coding to kids in elementary school, and they absolutely loved it. Now, the important thing here is doing all these activities frequently in front of a bunch of strangers helped me brush up my presentation skills and my communication skills. My volunteering team, we did such a great job at these volunteering activities that we even won an award at Concordia for our volunteering activities. And after that, I was fired up. So in my next semester, I took on more. I joined the rocketry division of Space Concordia to learn more technical stuff. And I also, a few months later, joined the spacecraft division of Space Concordia. Joining all these teams helped me learn about aerospace more, but also it helped me to get to know many different people. It helped me to learn how to work in team environments, right? And so I was expanding my network and I was also getting skills that I could put in my resume. And also, please note that Concordia has a lot of volunteering opportunities. Make sure you make use of them. So, fast forward in 2022, this was right after COVID. So, the aerospace companies just started again to organize competitions. And I attended one of those competitions. It was arranged by Montreal Airport, Bombardier, and many, many other big companies. Now, fun story about this, my team, we had to submit the case of the competition the day of one of our midterm exams. Imagine how stressed we were. We could have easily, gave up. But no, we pulled it off and as a team. And guess what? Our hard work, it paid off. We were selected and we got to present our case in front of executives of all these big companies, and we won second place, as you can see in one of the pictures. This helped us slide smoothly into the industry. We added all those judges on LinkedIn, and one of them even reached out to us and mentioned that this competition is popular and you will get a lot of recognition for it when you apply for jobs. Point to note, and truly enough, all four of us who were teammates in that competition got internships the very next term. It's very interesting how these things work, right? Next, I'll talk about a bit of my pilot training sessions. Since I was a child, I was always into space. I loved the space, loved the sky, and I even dreamed of becoming an astronaut at some point. Um, so before starting my internship in the aerospace industry at Pratt & Whitney, Canada, and I myself was studying aerospace engineering, I wanted to get a feel of flying a plane. I wanted to get my hands on the plane. So I called up several flight schools in Montreal, and there are many great flight schools in Montreal. I got into one and started training for my private pilot's license. Very cool hobby of mine. Absolutely no regrets. Also, interestingly, the supervisors at my internships really appreciated this. They recognized my efforts and passion towards aerospace. So any sort of activities that present your skills or that elevates your skills, you might have an improving area. Uh, in some places, maybe you're socially awkward. Maybe you have a stage fright. Maybe you need to work on your presentation skills. So the more you work with other teams, let's say in competitions, in volunteering activities, in extracurricular activities, you'll be able to improve yourself. Okay. So not just academically, but in other aspects of your character as well, of your personality as well. So let's be honest here. Chasing your dream and passion is fun, but it requires a lot of work. As you can see, I had way too many things in my schedule every single day. I didn't have time to eat, I didn't have time to sleep. It was quite stressful. So in the second year of my master's, I decided to focus on my mental and physical health a bit. One of my colleagues at Pratt and Whitney Canada talked about karate, the philosophy behind it, and the benefits the karate has on the mind, the body. So I decided to start learning karate. And a very interesting fact that I learned about karate is that it teaches you some breathing techniques that help you calm your nerves down in seconds. I used it just before my exams. I used it before my presentations in university, and also before my interviews for internships or my full-time jobs, right? So you guys should definitely check it out. Now, with that, I have shared my experiences during my master's degree and my internships. But before I leave, I shall give you guys a couple of advice, right? Number one, networking. Very, very important. Make sure you talk to a lot of people, make acquaintance with people from various different teams, participate in various things so that you have a good network. Okay. And make sure you post all your achievements on LinkedIn. The recruiters, they keep an eye out on LinkedIn, right? So you'll see that some recruiters will probably follow on your posts, and some of the time they will comment you. So that means they have probably noted down your name in their list, right? So uh, that's a point. That's a way to stand out as well. Next, I would say connect to people of various departments. For example, most of the time we see that, let's say, engineers only know other engineers, or worse, let's say mechanical engineering students do not even know that many civil engineering students. So there's a gap, right, between different departments, different engineering departments even. So what I did to close this gap was to attend competitions where all the departments are welcome. Concordia arranges several intra-university case competitions. I had attended one of the engineering commerce case competitions, as you can see in one of the pictures. We were a team of 4 members. One of us was in journalism, another in international business, another in industrial engineering, and I was in aerospace engineering. So in that way, the topic that you're working on or the case that you're working on, you get to understand it from different perspectives. Since all of you are from different fields of studies. So all these adds depth to your knowledge and how you view things, you know? And obviously networking, this adds to your networking. Who knows? You might be able to work with them in the future, right? Where a company which is an aerospace company not just hires aerospace engineers, but they also hire software engineers. They hire business people. So it's important that you know people from various disciplines, not just your own discipline. And my next advice, very important, would be to attend career fairs. As they have mentioned already, Concordia arranges career fairs where many, many companies participate. There, you can have one-on-one informal and informational interviews with recruiters and hiring managers. So that way, you can familiarize yourself with the companies. You can add the managers on LinkedIn and reach out to them when you're looking for internships. And in fact, I not only went to the career fairs organized by Concordia in the portal, or I think in the Concordia pages, there are links to other career fairs. They give you news and postings where there are other general career fairs in Montreal, let's say. And I found many different companies, and it is there where I got to know the hiring managers of the program, of the rotation program that I'm in right now. So you see, if I did not go to the career fair that day, maybe I would not be in the position that I am in today, right? So these things go a long way. So in conclusion, do not just focus on class materials, also be involved in extracurricular and volunteering activities. That way you can prove to the recruiters that you're a well-rounded student, okay? They want to see that you have a good GPA, great. But they want to also see your achievements, right? Are you a good team player? Are you a good team leader? Have you done other projects? Have you done fun things in life? What are your nice hobbies, right? Interesting things about you. So I would encourage you to go grab as many opportunities as you can, work hard, have some fun, and you will certainly achieve what you want. So with this, I'll let you guys go. Please note that I'm going to put down my LinkedIn in the chat so that you can connect with me and reach out to me. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much, Teena. A lot of great advice, everyone, from her. And you see, she made it happen for herself. She admitted she spread herself too thin, but she quickly pivoted and found a healthy way to deal with everything. So I think that's quite fantastic. Um, I have a question from Debacor, okay? He'd like to know your background. So what was your major in your bachelor degree?
I was doing mechanical engineering in my bachelor's. My aim was to study aerospace, but um, as per my advices that I got at that time, mechanical engineering is a broader discipline. So I did my undergrad in mechanical engineering and then, focused on aerospace engineering in my master's.
That's really great. Do you how far along are you now in your pilot license?
I have not completed the exam yet. So you have to take an exam after all your trainings. I have not taken that exam yet. So right after my graduation, actually, I got my job offer, the full-time position offer that I'm in right now, a semester before I graduated. So
That's
I
great.
wanted to show the managers that I'm fully committed to this work. So right now, I don't want to pursue it for a couple more months, but next year, yeah, I'll probably give the exam and take my license.
I actually think that's a really smart strategy, to be quite honest with you, Tina. I think that's the right step. Um, Tina, you've your volunteer experience is actually like a very like you chose associations that are actually really dear to my heart. Like I've always been, it's been almost 10 years now that I've gotten to know like some of the students that have graduated from Space Concordia. I love Space Concordia. Actually, a student by the name of Gabriel Zubey, he's an electrical uh, student in undergrad, and he was involved in Space Concordia with the team that set the rocket, the shuttle up and stuff. So it was very exciting to hear his story. And what I also love about Space Concordia, okay, for those of you that, it might pique your interest because Space Concordia isn't only for particular programs of engineering. They also even have a variety of engineering students, and they even have commerce students, like finance students, for example, which I think is really, really great. And then just to make that correlation to your volunteer experiences, another competition that I absolutely love is the ENCHCOM games, which merges JMSB and GCS together. So I think that's really quite fantastic. When you were volunteering with Space Concordia, what type of students diversity did you volunteer with?
Um, I was initially in the outreach committee. So what the outreach committee does is it goes to, let's say, different schools or different organizations, and we teach children about STEM activities, okay, and also promote Concordia and its engineering disciplines in a way. So kids very small, of very small age to middle school kids, we used to go to different schools to present to different topics. Let's say today we're going to learn about how aircrafts fly. Okay, so the small kids, they would make airplanes and say like, oh yeah, if you make it in this shape, then it will fly this distance. If you change the shape of the plane, then it will fly a greater distance. So these kinds of scientific properties and phenomenons we were teaching them. So that's for the outreach committee. And Space Concordia has lots of different divisions. I joined the rocketry division, so we were making a part of the rocket, which would help the rocket stabilize. So when you launch the rocket, it's supposed to rotate at a very high speed. So we did not want it to rotate. We wanted to stabilize that rotation. So I was involved in making that part. And later on, I joined um, I think the spacecraft division um, of Space Concordia. Yeah, so three divisions in total, and we had a lot of fun. We used to go to the other campus, campus in I forgot the name of the place, but
Loyola?
yeah,
Loyola?
Loyola campus. Yes, we went there. We literally had those parts there, and we were, doing the wiring, this and that. It was really cool, and lots of students would come over, and it was a very fun experience.
Yeah, I love that association. It's very inclusive, and you cannot be like super fast result oriented in that association. Like you are either in the beginning, in the middle, or the very end of a project. Okay, so you're part of, like, you're like the cog in the wheel that keeps it going and keeps it going. But it's very exciting. Gabrielle had told me that not only were they able to launch the rocket, but the rocket didn't blow up in outer space, and it actually came back down, and I think it had recorded information for you guys and stuff, so quite successful. That's really great. I have another question for you, and I think that's a great question. So hopefully you'll have some suggestions. uh, I'm sorry if I mispronounce your name. Shangern, okay, has a question about how to ace behavioral interviews.
That is actually a really good question. So what I did, I'll be very honest with you, like I said, from the very beginning of my master's, I knew that it was advantageous for me to talk to different companies. Okay. So I attended so many career fairs that before my real interview, I had a lot of informal or let's say informational interviews. Okay, so they would ask me questions, and obviously I noted them down, and I Googled some more questions. I asked my family members. My dad, he's an engineer, and I'm like, okay, you hire people. Tell me what you asked them. So I would say a bit of a practice and some, let's say, fake interviews, not real ones, but you talk to different people, and they end up asking you different questions. But the recruiters, the different managers, but I would say that the managers and recruiters, they're not that strict with their answers because they know that you're a student and you probably don't have that much experience. So try to give realistic examples, okay? For example, let's say a question someone with 10 years of experience will answer that question very differently than someone with no years of experience, right? So, and that's okay. That's completely okay. So instead of, let's say, replicating the answers we can find on the internet, and now that we have ChatGPT is very helpful, right? Try to associate with live examples that you experienced in your life. Okay, so that's what I did, and the recruiters they get impressed when you can comprehend the question in different ways. So a question which everyone would answer in one way because they think that the question asks this, but if you perceive the question in a different way and give the answer in a different way, that's interesting to the recruiters as well. So there is no perfect answer. There has to be a realistic answer. So I would say there is no acing. Uh, I don't know. At least I think there is no acing the behavioral questions, but it's more of a realism. They want to see how much you or how much you have experienced or what you have experienced. Not, let's say, not how much, what you have experienced.
Thank you, Tina. And thanks for asking that question. That was a good one. Let's face it, all of us, I think it's the bane of our existence when they start asking these behavioral questions. But if I could give you a little bit of advice, and Tina also said it too, ask a whole bunch of people to ask you interview questions. I love that because that way you're never prepared for somebody, okay? Because you don't know what they're going to ask you. Second of all, okay, your program coordinator. Okay, you could definitely, when you're prepping to go out on interviews, you could definitely do an interview with your program coordinator. For those of you that are in GCS, you could go to Career Placement Services to see if they would do a mock interview. Those of you that are JMSB students, you can go to Career Management Services. So there's a few actual places on campus that you can continue practicing and developing stronger skills in questions, including behavioral ones. So we have another question from Zaziba. Thank you very much, Zaziba. Being a computer science student, does ECA help a lot? Given the interview process tends to be more technical and skill based.
What I personally think, or let's say what I have seen around me, it's sometimes it's difficult to even get interviews, okay? I probably did not mention it when I was speaking to you guys a few minutes ago, but getting a job is almost like a numbers game kind of thing. So you need to apply to as many positions as possible, you know? No discrimination between job postings, just apply to all of them, okay? I would say the ECA activities, um, they make you stand out. Okay. Well, honestly, over here, we have hundreds of computer science students, okay, hundreds of mechanical engineering students. So why would they select you and not someone else? You probably have the exact same degree, the exact same number of years of studies, probably the exact same GPA. So what makes you different, right? So I would say um, the first pick from recruiters or managers, oh yeah, she or he is different, or they are different. So to get their attention, I think it's important. Or else you'll probably get lost in a lot of CVs because companies, they get hundreds and hundreds of applications, right? So it's one way to stand out.
Thank you. That's really good advice. And if I could say one more thing, I would consider your projects, okay? Or always think of like brand new, fresh ideas and maybe implement a project. That's a great way. Like if you're allowed your laptop with you, you're in the interview, and you could say, "Well, I have a project to show you," because that way they're seeing how you code, how you're thinking, okay? And that's an exciting thing for them as well. And I know, like, get involved in the hackathons at the university as well. That's always a really good experience too, and students tend to have a lot of fun with that too. So all right. um okay, this is a question. Think back strategically. Was there one defining moment? Because I don't know, you have a lot of moments. Was there one defining moment that made you realize that the co-op model and getting internships was really the way for you to go?
Um, for me, I decided to enroll in this specific program, MENG Aerospace, with the co-op option way before I started my undergrad. So even before I started my undergrad, I kind of had the impression that I need to have a little bit of work experience or exposure in the industry, in the country that I'm going to pursue my degree in or want to join the industry in, right? So, what co-op does, and I don't know how, but it kind of was very clear to me that to have some exposure before you actually go in the industry is important. And also, but sometimes people might not even like it. You do an internship and you may figure, no, this is not for me. Maybe I like something else. Okay, you wouldn't know that until you work in an industry, right? So uh, the co-op option, the ability to do internships is very, very helpful for you to realize what you actually want even before you graduate, right?
Yeah. I love that. And you actually are enforcing something that I truly believe in. Um, some students can sometimes be so put off with a internship that they really didn't enjoy. But for me, it's always driving home the fact that the co-op model allows you to take that test drive. It's not, you're not trying to make money to feed yourself, okay? And finding out about something that you dislike or wasn't for you, to me, is equally important, okay? Because it narrows down your focus on what you want to do in the future. So thanks very much. You confirmed that, Teena. I have another question. Okay, so this would be in relation to like your own experiences as well as maybe some of the friends that you have. Okay. Nasmus, thank you very much for your question. If anybody else has any questions, we're about to wrap it up. So please add your question before we finish. So Nasmus wants to know, what options would you suggest to learn and practice French from a very basic level? I know about the free MiFi or MiFi program, but it has a long wait list. But I'm willing to start as fast as possible. I love your attitude, Nasmus. So, Teena, do you have any suggestions?
Well, in fact, I do because my husband, he came from British Columbia, so he did not know French at all. And like you mentioned, it was difficult to get into the list of MIFI because there's a long waiting list for beginners. So what he did is he enrolled in online French classes. You just search up online, there are online French classes, and so there are free French lessons as well. There are apps that teach you some basic French as well. So I would say start with that. And to look for channels in YouTube, or let's say you can search up which channels are good in Reddit as well. If you are more willing to do the free ones, there are really good free sources all over the internet. So you can get started like that as well. In my case, what I did actually is there is Alliance Française. It's an French teaching institute that is in many different countries. So I learned French w- with Alliance Francaise in my country online. So the timings were a bit off, because I would be awake at like, let's say, 3 a.m., 4 a.m. in the morning, but I could still take those courses because, it was easier to get in those courses than the, let's say, the ones that are offered by MIFI, by the Quebec government.
Thank you very much. I would also suggest checking on campus. In the past, there have been various French classes. Also, too, we have something called the Vous êtes engagé that should be up and operational next semester, I imagine. Richard can tell me if otherwise. Also, there is either by the Student Success Center or Career and Placement Services, they used to offer, so check for this, conversation lunches, like brown bag lunches. So you just show up and you're all forced to talk French. Okay. So it's kind of fun and awkward at the same time. But I think, and don't be afraid if you don't know anything, because, like, I don't know, students are pretty supportive of each other, like somebody's going to help you along and tell you how to say hello, bonjour, or goodbye in French. Okay. So try to see if those are still around on campus, and just go for one a week or something, and just try that way too. Richard, do you have any other suggestions, being a program coordinator?
Yeah, no, I think you've touched on a lot of them. We talked about vous êtes engagé, but through Student Success Center, there are such opportunities. There are a wealth of different programs that they're offering there, grad pro skills as well. So check with them. to see what's available. And I think you've got your bases covered.
Actually, believe it or not, Imram just sent us a message, and I was thinking of that too. I don't know if you know anything about it. Tina, have you used Udemy? Because we have access to Udemy here at our university. I think that's a great idea, Imram. Is there anything that you would recommend on Udemy?
Yeah, yeah, Len, now that you mention it, there are many courses, and they have levels on them, right? A1, A2, B1, B2. So you could try those courses, and I'm sure they're going to be helpful. And to add to Leslie, you guys mentioned about grad pro skills and their French classes. I did participate in their French classes for the first 2 semesters. So it was very interesting. And like you said, a bunch of us were put in a room and we were forced to talk in French. It was weird and awkward, but we had a lot of fun. And the teacher, because it was really new to us, Montreal was new to us. We just came to Canada. It was mostly international students. So we roamed around the city. She took us to an art place, and there were all these artworks. She was pointing at things and telling us if we know what those words are in French. She had this very interesting way of teaching you French words. So you guys can definitely check that out.
Oh, I love that. Was that through the Co-op Institute or somewhere at the university?
No, I think it was with the grad pro
Grad
skills.
pro skills.
Oh, fantastic bringing you guys like for an activity. Love that. So much fun. Um,
So
and
Anna
this is going,
mentions it.
yeah,
Sorry to interrupt. So Anna in the chat reminded me that that Concordia has just unveiled a comprehensive professional French terminology database. Anna provides the link in the chat. And
great.
Natalie says, the Institute will provide you with additional resources. Stephanie Corona will as well, as she's going through the career fundamentals training. So stay tuned, folks.
That's great. Thanks very much, Anna and Richard. We're going to do one more question, Richard, and then I'll pass the floor back to you. Okay. So our last question, Tina, is from Saleh. Okay. My question is for you. What was your French level when you applied to the Co-op Institute?
That's a very good question. Because because I had already decided to come to Montreal before my undergrad, so I started learning French when I was in undergrad. Okay, but the problem, I would say, in learning French in other countries is you only get to know the writing, the reading. Okay, because I could not speak a word. I'll be very honest with you, I could not speak a word. So, bonjour, au revoir. Other than that, I could not, make sentences. So, in terms of speaking, maybe A1, but in terms of reading, writing, um, B1.
Okay. Thank you very much, Tina. Your presence today was invaluable. It is always a pleasure when you come back and you share all your information. So thank you very much. And I'll pass it back to you, Richard.
Thanks so much, Leslie. Thank you, Tina. Before we leave today, folks, I just want to make a couple of quick announcements. So, in the chat, Celine has provided some great links for you to take a look at, including the video. As well, you've got some contact information on this slide here as well. If you want to find us, find your program coordinator, and so on, and just reach out to us. Thanks to the team that have put this session together, Celine and everyone else for participating. Appreciate that. Tina, incredible, so inspirational. Uh, to all the students here today, thank you for being here with us today. If you just could, just maybe take advantage of half the things, half the advice that Teena has provided us with today, her words of wisdom, I think you will meet much success. The whole co-op team and I look forward to meeting you all and working with you all in the coming semesters and wish you much success with your studies. Have a wonderful day. Thank you.